Coming up next on the Jeff Crilley Show, you're going to meet a spirit-led entrepreneur. She's going to share her incredible journey about how she's making her mark on the planet. Next.
Many are predicting that the worst is yet to come, which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's icebox.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team, and the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is the Jeff Crilley Show.
Well, if you've watched this show for any length of time, you know I like to bring on people who are filled with faith, filled with the Spirit, and my next guest epitomizes that, Natalie Lavelock. She is a faith-based inspirational speaker and a serial entrepreneur who helps people in the faith-based space. Thanks for coming on the show.
All right, thank you, Jeff. Thanks for having me.
Well, before we get into what you're currently doing, I want you to share your journey about how this evolved.
Oh, so good. It actually started over 20 years ago. I'm a registered nurse by trade. I have a master's degree in nursing education. And for almost 20 years, it was my job to develop training programs to train doctors and nurses at the bedside so that when seconds counted, they could snap into action and do what they were called to do. And then there came a moment where I had a feeling of being unsettled. And I knew that in that moment, God was calling me to something new, calling me to something different. Little did I know it was going to be entrepreneurship. I actually got the opportunity for a promotion at the hospital. And with this promotion, it was everything that I thought was the next rung on the corporate ladder, right? That's what we're taught from childhood, is that you just keep climbing and climbing and climbing that corporate ladder. And so I thought, oh my gosh, what an incredible opportunity. And then the reality of that opportunity started to sit in. And I realized that with 3 little boys at home, taking this job offer, moving into a management position in a rural hospital meant that I was going to be on call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year.
Wow.
And the weight of what that meant for my family really started to sink in. Because those 3 little boys, like, they can hire anybody for a management position. But God gave me those 3 little boys, and I'm the only one that can be their mama.
Wow.
And so I was faced with this decision to make. What am I going to do? And I just heard this little voice that said, Natalie, will you trust me? Will you trust me? I've given you 2 incredible opportunities. And one of them, is all the things that the world says is good. And the other one is a huge leap of faith. But I want to take you on an adventure if you're willing to trust me.
Now, did you feel like it was spelled out for you? Okay, hold that thought for a second, because we're going to pull up your website. And if we scroll down the website, tell people how you make a living these days.
Yeah, so I work with kingdom-minded coaches and speakers, and I help them grow their businesses so that they can fulfill God's calling on their life through the marketplace.
Yes, and just to put a fine point on that, there's a lot of speakers, right? But sometimes they don't know how to monetize their career. And so you help them with everything from books or programs or webinars. Is that what you do?
Actually, no, a little bit different than that. I often say I help them get paid beyond the stage. So most of them are using public speaking to grow their business and to gain awareness, to gain authority
Sure.
as the expert in their industry. Many of them, though, don't have a way to monetize their message in a way that truly transforms lives. And so I help them to develop training programs that will train other people who want to carry on their legacy.
That's really cool. It has to be incredibly rewarding.
Oh my goodness, it is. It is, because I know that we're doing kingdom work, and through that, we're also taking care of the people that we were called to serve.
Okay, what's one of your favorite success stories? You don't have to name the names unless you want to, but give us an example of the kinds of clients you like to work with.
Oh my goodness. Just one. Just one. I'll just say broadly, I work with healthcare practitioners. I work with speakers, speaking coaches, those types of people who already have successful businesses. They're usually they're making multiple six figures, sometimes knocking on the door of seven figures. And what I can tell you is that one of my favorite clients was a woman who had a background as a therapist. And she came to me because it'd been between 2 and 3 years since she had actually made money. She was on disability. And she just said, Natalie, I don't want to live this kind of life anymore. I don't want to be dependent on the government for my future. And she's like, but I'm kind of giving up hope because I haven't been able to monetize my expertise. And we worked together for 6 weeks. Actually, we worked together for 12 weeks, but within that first 6 weeks, she had sold 3 5K programs.
Wow.
And made $15,000.
That's amazing. You are clearly good at what you do. She's also an amazing speaker. We've got some video of you out speaking. So when you go around the country speaking, who's in your audience mostly?
Mostly it is emerging coaches and speakers. I've got some practitioners in that audience. And they're people, again, who use the stage to grow their business, and yet they need help monetizing the back end of their business. They know that there is a bigger calling on their life. They know that they're leaving money on the table, and that money is not designed just to go into their pocket. That money is designed to fuel their mission, to fuel their ministry. And so they want to do something even greater with the money that they make.
It's amazing that God put you in this position to do this using all your talents from your,
I think so too.
your previous life. We also know that she's a very popular guest on podcasts. So we've got some video of her on a podcast not too long ago. When you're inviting on these podcasts, is the theme the same? Are you talking about how to help speakers monetize their business?
For the most part, it's about how to monetize your business. Occasionally, I will talk about what's it really like to take a leap of faith and then find out that God's waiting right there in the gap to take care of you the whole way.
Yes.
So those are typically the two topics that I talk on: is getting paid beyond the stage, how to monetize your message, and then taking that leap of faith.
And tell me about the pandemic, because obviously during the pandemic, all speaking stopped. Were you helping people during the pandemic? I mean, she laughs because, I mean, I know speakers who had like 200 dates in that year and then they all disappeared.
It's actually, the reason I'm laughing is because the pandemic catapulted my business.
That's amazing.
Most people, stages vanished, and in true entrepreneurial fashion, I was like, how are we going to make this work, right? What can I do? And fortunately, sometimes the hard times in life really open up new windows and doors for you. I live in a very rural community. And so for me, when I would go and speak on stage, I'd have to drive into the city, get on a plane, fly across the country, everything like that. When the pandemic hit, I really jumped into, oh my goodness, how can I do this from home? And I very quickly started to dig into summits. I very quickly started looking at other virtual stage opportunities. And so where time and distance created a gap for me in the past, I was able to close that gap, and my business just exploded.
All right, so Natalie, in the final 2 minutes, talk to the speaker out there who says to himself or herself, I think I found my coach.
Oh, come on, let's do this. This is what you were created for. There is kingdom work to be done. And there is so much work to be done for the people that you've been called to serve. And if there's one thing that I could leave you with, I want you to fully grasp down to every fiber of your DNA how much your life matters. You see, I believe that your business is a lifeline. And I believe that right now you are being called to step up, to step out in faith, and to be that lifeline for those who need you the most.
Wow, so powerful. We're going to end with her website, which is NatalieLavelock.com. The great Natalie Lavelock. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you so much.
That's it for now. We'll see you next time.